What's up, what's up? Welcome back to the Ratcave. It's Ratzi here for DJKit. Today, I am looking at the unbelievable masterpiece that is the AlphaTheta Euphonia Rotary Mixer. So AlphaTheta teamed up with the legendary Rupert Neve on this mixer. And for those who know pro audio and music recording, you will know how much of a genius Rupert Neve actually was. And of course with AlphaTheta pretty much being, pioneer DJ, we've been through all of that kerfuffle just recently. They have combined their expertise in digital mixers with the analog magic of Rupert Neve. And as much as I hate the phrase club standard, Pioneer DJ have had their mixers in the club DJ booths for pretty much 30 years now, since the DJM 500 back in 1995. There's no denying that Pioneer DJ are the champions of the digital club mixer world, with the sound quality, effects and EQ being top of the range on all of their flagship mixers, the DJM V10, the DJM A9 for example. But I'm actually not here to give you a history lesson on mixers. What I will tell you off the bat though about this AlphaTheta Euphonia, it is literally one of the best sounding mixers I've ever heard. It probably is the best sounding mixer I've ever heard, if in all honesty. And of course, annoyingly for you guys, you're just gonna have to take my word for it, because the sound of this is obviously only as good as whichever device you are watching this video on. But if you are seriously interested in this mixer, you need to go and track one down and have a play on it yourself and listen to it yourself to actually appreciate how good this mixer sounds. I'm sure a few of you watching this video have already been blessed to have a little twiddle on this Euphonia, whether that be at open evenings or conventions, but that might have been in like big, loud, noisy environments. In an ideal world, you would hear this mixer in a studio or soundproof booth or something like that to appreciate how warm and bright it sounds. It is absolutely beautiful. Having said that though, this mixer played on a, perfectly leveled professional sound system, whether that be in a club or a studio setting, it's gonna blow your mind. I don't know what else to tell you about the sound quality, to be honest. Like I said, you just gotta take my word for it. So anyway, in this video today, I am gonna be walking you through the standout features on this Euphonia, what's where and what does what, etc. And I think it's important to bear in mind, I am not a rotary mixer user myself, so I mean it's kind of raw, a raw review from myself, because I don't have that much sort of experience when it comes to rotary mixers. So just bear that in mind. The things that I'm saying are coming from a DJ who is used to digital club mixers, or actually now my preferred battle style mixer. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into it, man. So let's start with the basics. As you can see, it is a 4-channel mixer with 3-band EQ, and these rotary knobs down here are instead of the channel faders. And the great thing about these rotary knobs is if you turn them fast, it removes the tension, so you can bounce the volume up and down pretty easily, like sort of riding on a volume fader. But if you turn the pot slowly, the tension is tighter, so you don't quickly jump up the volume for a slow blend or whatever. And I've got to say, it's the best of both worlds basically. It's ideal for chops, you can still chop like this, but it's also got that nice harder tension when you're going up for that slower sort of blend. Also, just a little side note about the volume, AlphaTheta actually say that the sweet spot on this mixer on the volume pot is around there, around the 7 mark. So that's where like all of the Rupert Neve goodness kicks in. Also up here on the isolators, but I'll get to the isolators in a minute. So I just want to say about these rotary pots here, they're a great size. They're not too massive, but they're big enough to get a good grip on. They've got a nice rubber grip around the outside. The rose gold finish, I mean, AlphaTheta, Pioneer DJ, they're really feeling that rose gold at the moment. I mean, we saw quite a bit of it on the Opus Quad as well, which I stand by. I think that should have been an AlphaTheta product, but let's not get into that. I'll go on a rant about that. But yeah, the rose gold, I mean, I'm all right with it, but it would be perhaps a little less niche if they went for a silver color. But yeah, all in all, I mean, arguably sort of the most important part about this mixer, apart from the isolators, I'll get onto the isolators in a minute, is the rotary pots, you know, the volume rotary pots, and they feel great. So then moving up here, you've got the 3-band EQ, which is -26 and +6. So you've got your low, your mid, and your high. And then above here, you've got your channel sort of line switcher. So you've got laptop. I'm currently using this with Serato DJ Pro, which is mad enough that, you know, I remember the Rain MP 2015 when I found out that that was compatible with Virtual DJ. It absolutely blew my mind. But yeah, so this is compatible with both Rekordbox and Serato DJ Pro. I should say this at this point. It's a hardware unlock for Rekordbox, but you need to have the license for Serato DJ Pro. So up here, yeah, you've got your laptop, you've got digital, you've got line, and you've got phono inputs. Then under there, you've got your trim, and then the send button down here. That is where you control the effects on this mixer. So the way that this works, the send knob sends the audio from that channel over to the send effects, which are up here. Then the send effects routes it back out to the output. So that's how you trigger the effects, you know, on sort of, on club mixers and stuff, on the Pioneer mixers, there's a button down here and all that jazz. This is how you do it with this send knob down here. Worth saying as well, actually, that there is a send and return on this mixer as well. So when the knob is set to external up here, that's where you can use, you know, external effects, pedals and stuff like that. But also you can use this Euphonia with like the RMX 1000, you know, effects, Pioneer DJ RMX 1000 effects station. So speaking about effects, there are actually 5 effects on this mixer. You've got delay, which sounds like that. You've got tape echo. You've got echo verb, reverb, and shimmer. So they are the 5 effects on this mixer. Then over here, you've got your BPM counter. So you can either tap the counter to get the effects to the right speed, or you can have that on auto. Then you've got the beat parameter over here, which changes so let's go back to the tape echo. I've got that on 1/4 at the moment. I'm gonna have that on 1/2, or 1, or 1/8, or 1/16. You know, this is, you know, you see this on pretty much all mixers these days. But funnily enough, actually, about this Euphonia is it goes from 1/16 up to 1 beat, which is quite small considering, like the A9, for example, goes all the way up to 8. You know, you can go like do 8 beats of the effects and all that stuff. But yeah, so that is the parameter, that is the beats of the effects, sorry. And then over here, you've got the parameter knob, which is how much of the effect you are sort of putting into the tune. So again, for example, let's go on back to 1/4. At the moment, you know, the parameter's in the middle, so it's kind of half and half, not that extreme. If I turn that up, do you know what I mean? So, you know, kind of all about finding the sweet spot, really, depending which send effects you're using, on which tune, which BPM, all of that stuff. But we love to play around with effects, don't we, DJs? Anyway, then finally over here, this is your return level knob. So worth saying, actually, there are 5 send effects, and as I said, when you've got this knob over to the external bit, that's when you're using external effects. If you've got it down here on the HPF, that stands for high pass frequency. What that does is it changes these send knobs into a high pass filter. So again, high pass filter, and you know, if I turn up the parameter, makes it more extreme. So it works the same way, but you know, technically not one of the send effects. That's just turning these send knobs into a filter. So, you know, the effects sound great. Like I said, they're wicked to play with. Not that many to choose from, but some really nice sounds in there. And as you can see, when you are changing the effects, the name of the effects actually come up on the screen. So let's take a look at the screen now. So this is a 4.3-inch full color display, which is something that you don't see very often on Rotary mixers. There is actually a brightness display for the screen here as well, so you can have it down or up, there's 5 different display settings. And actually what I do like about this little area up here around the screen is that it's nice and easy to access. Like for the brightness and stuff, you don't have to go into the screen, but you can go into the screen by holding this view button. That then takes you into like the utilities of the mixer, and then you use the utility and the view buttons here to navigate, and then tap up here is to exit. Just to quickly say as well, this is the master insert button, so you have that enabled when you're using this, the send effects on external mode. So back to the view, there is actually 2 different views on this Euphonia mixer. You've got your analog view here, which is my personal favorite, but then you've also got a digital view here as well. So let's talk about the analog view. So here in the analog view, when you're playing a song, you can see you get this like arm ticker, this blue arm ticker here that bounces up and down with the beat. There's actually a key up in the top left hand corner here. So channel 1 is blue, channel 2 is orange. So if it'd be really clashy, but you can see there, you can see them at the same time, bouncing at the same time, or just one or the other. So channel 2 is orange, channel 3 is green, and channel 4 is a kind of purpley colour. So hopefully as well, you can see the white coloured bit on the display here, right? So you can see that's where the blue is hitting in that white coloured bit, then it turns red at the end. So that is where the Rupert Neve transformers kick in that really sweeten up the sound of this mixer. So this is weirdly the only mixer really that you're sort of not recommended to push into the higher ends, but you should push it into the higher ends, because that's where you're getting the best sound. That's where the Rupert Neve transformers kick in. On any other mixer, I feel like I should say this, on any other mixer, of course, it's rule number 1 to kind of stay out of the red line. But again, even if you hit the reds on this Euphonia, you're still getting those Rupert Neve harmonics, so it sounds absolutely amazing. Like, honestly, it just, it's warm, it's lovely. So also on the bottom of the screen here, you've got the spectrum analyzer, which is a lovely touch, to be fair. Again, it's nice, it's not only nice sort of visually to see it, but it's something that you've probably never seen before in a Rotary mixer. I don't know if this is a first, but I can't remember ever seeing something like this on a Rotary mixer. But it's actually, having the spectrum analyzer in a studio setting, music production and stuff, it's obviously key in studio production and pro sound. So it kind of goes hand in hand with this, again, with the Rupert Neve sort of, pro audio vibes. So yeah, but it's not only about just a visual, it actually, it goes hand in hand with with the isolator knobs as well. So if as you can see here, it's just a dark spectrum analyzer at the bottom. But if I start playing with the isolator knob, so if I hit the high, hopefully, I've turned that high up. Can you see that there's that white line in the high end? That white line is where the original song would be. The highs of the original song are where that white line is. But the dark bit above that white line, that is the extra bit that I've put on using the isolator by turning so if I put it up to 12, you can see there it's jumped even more. So, it's not just the high, obviously you can do it with the mid. If I turn the mid up, you can see the middle of the tune is bouncing, you've got a darker bit above the white line there as well, and of course the low, it's the same thing there. So, it's really cool, really nice touch to have that on this Euphonia, not only for the visual side of it, but like, if I'm playing sort of 2 tunes at once, sorry about the whackness of the clash in here, but it's nice to see. It's really nice to see like how much. Obviously, you can hear how much of the isolator you're putting into the tune, but it's great to see it like on here as well. So, but it's not only in the plus. Obviously, if I turn it down as well, so if I take the mid down, you can see it's the line. That's the line. The dark line there is where the tune is with no isolator or effects on it at all. You can see because I've taken the mid down, it's fully dropped out. So it works both ways, boosting it and taking it down as well. So that's the analog view, which I said, you know, I love this view. It makes it like, especially even with the little rose gold finish that matches the knobs, you know, I think that this is a great like vintage look that goes really well with the mixer. You've got your master here as well, you know, your master levels, but in the digital one, you've still got the spectrum analyzer here, which is showing all of your frequencies, you know, still, you can see, take the mid out, push the high up, you know, it's, you can see that line there, it shows you where your frequencies are, but it doesn't have that, you know, that bouncing arm. It's got individual levels for each channel there, for all 4 channels. So, yeah, I mean, you know, still nice to have the 2 options, but I mean, just how nice is that? And it's lovely to see, like I keep saying, getting into that white sweet spot there, which is where the Rupert Neve kicks in and just makes everything sound so good. Okay then, let's get on to these big, beautiful isolator knobs now, yeah? They've got the same finish as the volume knobs down here, and they've got that same tension change that I mentioned earlier, where if you go fast, then the tension eases up, but if you go slow, then the tension gets a little bit tighter. So the way that isolator knobs work, basically, I mean, I might start a bit of an argument here, but you know, you've got low, mid, and high. It works the same way really as 3-band EQ, but you've got a boost level on these isolators on this Euphonia mixer. So you can have this at 0, which takes the low out there, for example, and the mid and the high. It's a full kill, it's a full isolator kill, right? But because I've got that on 0 and that's the boost, it means it doesn't give much of a, well, it gives 0 boost past the mid, the 12 o'clock point of the isolator, right? So that's the beauty of this mixer with the boost level. If I turn that up to 6 now, you've still got your full kill when you've got it down on 0, but if I go over the 12 o'clock mark, it's gonna start boosting the high, the mid, and the low by 6. Now you can also go up to 12, which is pretty extreme. I mean, I think that +6 is like the sweet spot on this mixer. So as I said earlier, this white and red part on this mixer, that is where the Rupert Neve transformers are really at their best. Yeah, in this white bit here with the little bit of red on the outside. So using the different boost levels here, they really do open up your tunes to sounding like warmer, brighter, you know, depending on which isolator you're using. I mean, you know, you can get it all nice and rumbly if you're going for like the low end and, you know, taking out the mid, but a bit of like some, you know, crispier hi-hats and stuff like that. So as you can see, well, you probably can't with the overhead here, but I've got this the blue ticker here hitting in that white. It's just about creeping into the red, actually. And that, I mean, you know, you guys can't hear it what it sounds like in here, but it just, those Rupert Neve parts, you know, they're really, that's where they're hitting the spot in that point up there, and it just sounds so sweet, man. So everything that I said about the send effects earlier, the same applies to these isolators. You can send the send effects into the isolators by hitting these send buttons here. So for example, if I just wanted to put the tape echo on the mid, hit this, and you know, you can play around with the parameters, and of course you can either have just that on, or you can have both the mid and the high affected, or the low, you know, you can have all 3. And what is great as well is that you can actually control it. You can be hitting the send effects on the channel as well as on the isolators. I mean, you know, the combinations of like send effects and stuff on this mixer is excellent. But something to bear in mind is when you are sending the send effects into these isolators, it is coming out over the master. So anything, say you're playing 2 tunes at once, massively out of time, sorry about that. But if I'm now, you know, that is affecting both of the tunes at the same time. So it's worth saying, you know, if you only want the tape echo on channel 1, then obviously use this send pot here and not the isolator send pot. So let's talk ins and outs on the mixer now. So you've got an IEC plug here, which is, you know, that's exactly what you would expect on this mixer. You've got your master insert and your send effects external inputs here, and the send and return inputs as well. Each channel, it has a phono line switchable on all 4 channels. Under here, you've got a RCA record out. The master out is XLR, but there's also a 1/4" jack booth out as well. And then you've got, all 4 channels have also got digital inputs too. Obviously, you've got your grounding screws here so that you can ground your turntables when you're playing in, using the mixer in analog mode. So there's one here and one down here. And then it's USB-C to connect this mixer to your laptop. You know, we've seen a lot of that going forward with Pioneer DJ and all of their, or AlphaTheta, you know, with all of their controllers and stuff that have come out recently. Then the mic input is combi, so you can either have a 1/4" input or a XLR input on there. So speaking of the mic controls are on the left of the mixer next to channel 1. You've obviously got your volume control, and then you've got 2-band EQ, which is high or low, and then the mic level, and then you've got your on or off switch and a talk over. Then over the other side of the mixer, next to channel 4, this is where you've got your headphones, so that's a 1/4" jack and a 3.5 headphone input. You've got your headphone level, your mix knob there as well. You've got stereo and mono split, and then above that, that's where you've got the booth level, which is just your booth volume, but it's also really nice that you've got 2-band EQ on the booth output on this Euphonia as well, with a low and a high. So let's conclude about this AlphaTheta Euphonia. Obviously, this is a very, very niche mixer, and it is very, very expensive, but if you think about how much the V10 is from Pioneer DJ, how much the DJM-A9 is from Pioneer DJ, you know, the stuff that you're getting out of this mixer, the Rupert Neve partnership, the Rupert Neve transformers, I mean, is it that much more money to spend? I don't think it is, but look, when it comes to Rotary mixers, that's a very niche product. It's for a very niche DJ who sort of says, you know, turns up to a club, for example, and says, well, actually, on my rider, I want a Rotary mixer. But make no mistake, right? This is going to be the Rotary mixer that gets put in that club when that headline DJ says, I'm a Rotary DJ. It's going to be this Euphonia. It sounds absolutely, it's just so sweet. Like, I can't explain how it sounds really, like, and I keep saying it's a bit useless to you guys, but you really need to try and listen to this yourself. But I mean, just in terms of like the build quality of it, it's rock solid, and considering how expensive it is, you do want it to be rock solid, right? You know, it's got a nice metal faceplate. I mean, the bit at the top here is a little bit sort of raised up, like it's got a vintage look, like a lot of Rotary mixers obviously do, particularly with this wooden finish down the side here. I mean, you know, we've seen that on the Warm 4 and actually the Rain 2015 as well. It's almost like a sort of unwritten rule these days that Rotary mixers need to have a little vintage wood trim along the side. I don't know. But look, just back to the sound. The fact that this is a hybrid analog digital mixer means it makes everything sound amazing, and you can have like the most digital of inputs going into this. Like, you know, I'm using phase with this, like I said earlier, with Serato DJ Pro, which is about as digital as it comes. But it comes, you know, joined up with the Rupert Neve transformers and stuff. It comes out with this lovely analog sound, and it brings it all together to just sound silly beaut, man. It is honestly probably the best mixer that I've ever heard. And you know, I keep saying it, but just if you can, go and listen to it yourself. So guys, I am going to leave it there. Please let me know in the comments, are you a Rotary mixer? Have you ever mixed on a Rotary mixer, and how do you find it? Like, do you find it difficult? It's obviously a different way to work, right? You know, if you're used to sort of channel faders and stuff. But the tension thing, I think, especially if you're a choppy DJ, you know, that it makes it sort of better to mix and stuff like that. But I do find that with Rotary DJs, they love a long blend. Do you know what I mean? And like, yeah. So let me know in the comments, are you a Rotary mixer fan? What do you think of this Euphonia? Do you think it's worth the price point? And have you heard it yet? And if you have, drop in the comments how amazing it is so everybody else who watches this video believes me. Guys, as always, if you found this helpful, press the thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe to the DJKit YouTube channel and share this video with anyone who you think might find it interesting. And until next time, you take care out there. Peace.